Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, Kern High School District votes to bring back some students. Details on the plan, how it works, and when kids could get back on campus.
President Trump is waking up back at the White House this morning after a whirlwind of treatment at Walter Reed. But as the VIP patient tells Americans not to fear the virus, doctors say he's not out of the woods yet.
Wildfire smoke still hovers over Kern County this morning, but for those in the Kern River Valley, it's nothing new by now. And the effects are starting to take the toll on everything from residents' health to the economy. This is Tuesday, October 6th, 2020. Good morning, 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen along with Alex Fisher. And yeah, just another morning when we're facing that bad air quality. So we're going to talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. But first, we have the breaking news this morning of a possible shooting in central Bakersfield. Police responded to the scene at 34th and Q Streets just west of Memorial Hospital around 4:30 this morning. Police have not yet confirmed the number of victims, information on the shooter or shooters, or the severity of injuries. We have a news crew at the scene, and we will bring you more information as soon as we learn more.
All right, let's take a look at your forecast now, because once again, we're going to be dealing with those smoky and hazy conditions for just a couple of more days. Right now in Bakersfield, it is 66 degrees. That visibility is at 4 miles. Yesterday, we saw the visibility dip down to 2.5 miles because the smoke and haze was so bad. I think we're going to see that again today. Yesterday, we hit 92 degrees. That is well above average for this time of year. We're supposed to be at 84 degrees for early October, but things are going to change later in the week. Here's what you can expect over the next several hours. Going to warm you up into the low 90s today for most valley locations. Right now in Tehachapi, you're looking at a very chilly 46 degrees. Visibility is at 6 miles, which is actually an improvement from yesterday at this time. Here's what you can expect over the next several hours. We're going to warm you up into the low to mid 80s for most locations in our mountain communities. There is a major change coming to our forecast in the next couple of days, and it could bring a chance of rain to Kern County. I'll explain in your forecast coming up.
Well, we know we could use some of that. Thanks so much, Alex. Education news is first up this morning. Kern High School District students are heading back to the classroom. Well, at least some of them. The KHSD Board of Trustees voted last night to begin bringing back students in small cohorts. The return will be in 3 phases, with the first phase expected to begin October 26th. The first will return students with severe learning disabilities. They would be followed by English language learners, those with mild learning disabilities, and at-risk students. Before last night's meeting, a call to reopen sports activities on KHSD campuses as well. Parents and students in the Kern High School District stood outside the district office with signs calling on trustees to let student athletes return.
It's been very difficult, and I think the most thing that is hard to explain is that we don't have the choice to decide for our children what we believe is correct. I understand that some people have fear of school or for whatever reason, germs, prior illnesses, but there is a lot of people, the majority of people, that believe that the children should be in school and our rights are being taken away from us as parents.
The board voted to allow student athletes to do conditioning exercises outdoors in small groups. No choir or band is allowed at this time.
2 people are dead following a crash in Shafter. It happened around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon on Poplar Avenue near Orange Street. According to CHP, a car traveling at a high rate of speed blew through a stop sign and hit another car. 2 people in that car that was hit died at the scene. CHP is looking into the possibility of drugs or alcohol that could have been a factor in this crash. This week is Distracted Driving Awareness Week, and the Bakersfield Police Department is gearing up to increase enforcement on cell phone use while driving. From Thursday till Sunday, distracted driving enforcement will be conducted in the city of Bakersfield. BPD will join other law enforcement agencies across the state with increased patrols that focus on drivers who break California's hands-free cell phone law.
It's also Fire Prevention Week, and the Bakersfield Fire Department's reminding residents of safety tips while cooking at home. Cooking is the leading cause of home fires in the United States. The fire department says never leave cooking food unattended. Always stay in the kitchen while frying, grilling, or broiling. If you have to leave even for a short time, turn off the stove. You should always have a kid-free zone of at least 3 feet around the stove in areas where hot food and drink is prepared. For more safety tips, visit bakersfieldfire.us.
6 people were arrested over the weekend, including 2 teens, for illegally having a gun and other crimes. The first of these arrests happened on Friday when officers seized a loaded stolen gun and a syringe containing suspected methamphetamine during a traffic stop. Later in the day, police seized a loaded gun in another traffic stop. The 2 occupants in the vehicle, both who were 17, were arrested and taken to juvenile hall. Saturday night, a man led police on a brief foot chase and discarded a gun while on the run. The man was eventually apprehended and arrested. Another gun-related arrest was made on Saturday before a shot spotter activation led to one final arrest on Sunday.
5:06 is your time now. Making news around the state, the Alameda County District Attorney announced she has agreed to reopen the investigation into the death of Oscar Grant, the unarmed black man shot in Oakland by an officer in 2009. Dan Kerman has the story.
Our family stands here today, along with the community of Oakland, making the demand that the murder of Oscar Grant case be reopened.
At a news conference Monday outside the Fruitvale BART station, family and supporters of Oscar Grant called on the district attorney to file murder charges against another officer who was at the platform New Year's Eve morning 2009, former BART officer Tony Peroni.
During our trial, we was informed that Officer Tony Peroni would be charged at a later date. It has been 11 years, and still we have not had that trial.
Grant's family says while it was BART police officer Johannes Meserly who fired the shot into Grant's back that killed him, it was Peroni who created the atmosphere that led to the shooting.
Anthony Peroni, the BART officer who created the climate of violence, pinned Oscar down with his knee on his neck, with his hands on his face, pushing 250 pounds of his weight, fracturing the bones in Oscar's face. Right. Called Oscar a 3 times, punched Oscar, kneed Oscar, lied to the investigators, falsified the investigative report, has escaped justice.
While Meserly was charged with murder and eventually convicted of involuntary manslaughter after maintaining he intended to use his taser, not his service revolver, Peroni was never charged, though he was fired from the BART police force.
17 News is your local election headquarters, and it is 28 days until Election Day, and ballots are in the mail, headed to registered voters across the state. Some polling places across California opened as early as yesterday. Some vote centers open October 24th, and all will open by October 30th. Voters can utilize any center. Voters coming inside to cast a ballot in person must wear a mask. Ballot marking devices will be sanitized after each use. Hand sanitizer and wipes are at each station, and social distancing guidelines is required while voting and outside while waiting in line. Early bird voters said it's the way to go, either in person or by the drop box.
When they said that they would be announcing early voting here, I said I want to physically do it. I want to be able to see it, and I'm kind of like the Paul Revere for my neighborhood.
California voters can track their ballots this year. People who sign up can get a text message, email, or phone call when the county receives their ballot and then counts it. Here at home, local voting officials say mail-in ballots should start arriving in your mailbox this week, but if you haven't received yours by October 16th, officials say you should contact the Kern County Elections Office. Your vote must be postmarked on or before November 3rd, Election Day, and must arrive at the Elections Office by November 20th in order to be counted.
So people who may be concerned a little bit about delays in the postal service, that does give extra time, although we still would encourage people to if they're going to mail it early.
Ballots will be processed as early as October 20th. You can visit kget.com to get a step-by-step look at the vote-by-mail process and a link to ballot tracks to help track your vote. You can just click on that hot link icon.
Just 28 days away, hard to believe.
Your time now is 5:32 in national news this morning. President Trump is back at the White House this morning, but not out of the woods. He walked out of a military hospital after 3 days of treatment. Tracy Potts has more.
Good morning, Alex. The White House says everyone dealing with the president will be in protective gear, and they're limiting access to him as he now begins his recovery at home. President Trump walking out of Walter Reed Medical Center with his health still in question.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, there's nothing that's being done upstairs here that we can't safely conduct down home.
While the president's doctor cleared him to leave, there are still no answers on whether his lung scan shows signs of pneumonia and when he last tested negative to determine who else may have been exposed. Isolated at the White House, the president will now be monitored 24/7 with the world's best medical care. On Twitter, he downplayed the virus that's killed more than 211,000 Americans.
Don't let it dominate you. Don't be afraid of it. You're going to beat it.
Medical experts argue the president's return puts White House staff at risk.
It's beyond irresponsible. It's literally everything. Malpractice. What Dr. Conley is doing is actively kind of propagating harm.
Doctors horrified seeing the president remove his mask and pose for pictures.
I felt like I was watching medical foul play.
Joe Biden at a town hall last night.
Look, anybody who contracts the virus by essentially saying masks don't matter, social distancing doesn't matter, I think is responsible for what happens to them.
So far, 14 people tied to the White House or the Trump campaign have tested positive. The latest, Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany and 2 of her staff. So the president is isolating in the White House residence upstairs, but his doctors did not rule out the possibility that at some point he could come downstairs and work out of the West Wing. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
And President Trump's treatment regimen includes dexamethasone, a steroid generally used for moderate or severe forms of illness. In addition, the president used supplemental oxygen at least twice and is undergoing a 5-day course of the drug remdesivir. He's also received an experimental antibody cocktail made by pharmaceutical company Regimen, described as sort of a next-generation convalescent plasma.
When convalescent plasma is administered, it is hoped that the plasma you're receiving has high levels of anti-spike antibody. With these monoclonal antibodies, every time you're sure there's high levels of antibody, and every time you're sure that they're specific for the virus.
Health experts say the treatments have the potential of side effects ranging from nausea to liver damage to delirium. As doctors continue to closely monitor the president, noting COVID-19 symptoms can sometimes get better before taking a sudden turn.
5:35 is your time, and now to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic in Kern County, with public health officials announcing yesterday 31 new cases and no new deaths. The number of lives lost in Kern remains at 386. There are more than 10,500 people recovering at home from the virus, while 65 are isolated in local hospitals. Kern County has seen more than 32,000 cases of COVID-19 since the pandemic started in March. And this morning, Kern County could get official word that we could move into the red, less restrictive tier. That would allow students to return to school and allow restaurants to open indoor operations, all with modifications. There are 4 tiers to the state that the state uses to measure how coronavirus is spreading in counties and enforces restrictions accordingly. As of now, we are in purple, the most restrictive tier. But county officials say Kern has been meeting requirements to move in the red tier since last week. If the state gives us the green light to move into the red, restaurants, houses of worship, schools, gyms, and other businesses could open up with modifications next week. That means people still need to follow the same precautions and get tested for COVID-19. There are places all around town to get a free test. You can schedule one by calling 211 or go to kerncounty.com. You can also make an account on this website, doineedacovid19test.com. There you can find a test site and schedule an appointment. You can use that site also to check your results in previous tests. And
yet another casualty of the coronavirus pandemic, this year's Bakersfield Christmas Parade. The traditional parade may be called off, but the parade committee will offer a virtual video format parade. Committee President Greg Cronk said there were several reasons for canceling this year, including public safety and financial concerns. Because of this change, there will be fewer entrants allowed. For more information, just visit our website, kget.com. On a more positive holiday-related note, Calm is holding a Howl, Screech, and Pumpkin Week to celebrate Halloween. While this year's event will be a bit different than Calm's annual Boo at the Zoo, ghosts and goblins of all ages are still encouraged to dress in costume and visit the spectacularly decorated grounds. Due to COVID-19, everyone is in attendance will be asked to keep a mask on and social distance. The event takes place from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. October 24th and 25th, and then again on the 28th through Halloween. Normal Calm admission fees do apply. Calm officials say the plan for Boo at the Zoo to return next year. For more information, just go to our website, kget.com. Should be fun for the kids.
Yeah, and that's got to be the cutest pair of witches I've ever seen. So fun. Welcome back here at 541. The glass fire continues to devastate wine country, with Cal Fire reporting it has grown yesterday once again due to poor humidity and above average temperatures. However, evacuation orders in Sonoma County have been reduced to evacuation warnings. So far, the glass fires burned more than 66,000 acres and destroyed 1,235 structures and damaged 242 more. It's 41% contained. Kern County firefighters have been deployed to help with the glass fire. These pictures were posted on their Facebook page. The crew completing a 24-hour shift. The department says they are in high spirits. Many local firefighters have been sent throughout the state to help with various fires. And we've had weeks of smoke clogging the sky due to wildfires. Experts across the state say it's bad for anyone's health. Here at home, because air quality is so poor, Golden Empire Transit is offering free service once again today. And we're really hoping that this change in the weather this week is going to bring a change. And be right back. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
All of the above.
Here we go.
Sunrise Interviews is brought to you by Valley Strong Credit Union.
Welcome back. The time now is 5:49, and the Boys and Girls Club Farm to Tableau is happening this Friday. In fact, parts of it are already underway. This is a huge fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Kern County, and this year it's more important than ever, even though it's going to look very different. Heather Frank, the co-chair of Farm to Tableau, is joining us this morning to tell us how you can get involved. Heather, good morning. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me. We're excited.
I think, first of all, it's so important to talk about the amazing work that Boys and Girls Club has been doing over the past several months due to the pandemic. With school shut down, so many parents didn't have a place to send their children. Some children, may have faced being left home alone and did not have a caregiver. And the Boys and Girls Club has really pivoted to be there for those families.
I agree. I think in times of crisis, the club just really stepped up and really focused on what was important to the kids of Kern County, providing services for essential workers, opening our doors for the kids, and distance learning options, which gave parents kind of just that extra opportunity to know that their kids were going to be taken care of while they had to go back to work.
And being there as far as food distribution, just recently, the clubs added an additional meal site to making sure that families still can put food on the table.
The nutrition program at the club has stepped up and been bigger than ever. The call to action to continue to provide meals for families and kids who don't need it has been a priority. And that program continues to just get bigger and being able to impact more kids of this community. And that's the priority.
Yeah, our most vulnerable citizens right now, and the Boys and Girls Club has been there for them, which is so amazing. So this is a way the whole community can get behind their mission. The Farm to Tableau, it's usually a big in-person event. It's going to be a virtual event this Friday. How does it work?
Yeah, typically we're sold out, so we're super excited to be able to open it up to anybody who wants to attend. Guests can register at event.gives/farm to tableau Baco. Honestly, we have amazing silent auction live right now. We have opportunities to give to a Mystere raffle. On October 9th at 6:30, we'll be going live with our in-person presentation, which we're super excited about. Really, we're just going to recreate the atmosphere and try to bring everything to life that we do live.
All right, and already so many people are registered, hundreds of people, in fact, but you can still get in on this as well. Some of my favorite pieces that are up for auction and for purchase are the kids' art, and it is truly incredible if you've never seen the kids' art from the Boys and Girls Club of Kern County. So go register, check it out, be part of this celebration and part of the amazing work being done at the Boys and Girls Clubs of Kern County. Heather, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it. And we're going to post all of this information so that you can find it on our website, kget.com. We'll be right back after this.
Well, good morning, Alex. No matter where you live in California, you've been hit by this destructive wildfire season, and it's taken a toll on everybody. And this is especially true in the Kern River Valley, where residents have undergone an almost unwavering layer of thick smoke and unhealthy air.
We have difficulty in going outside because of the smokes being so bad.
The past 2 months have been an exercise in resiliency for Manuel Rosales and his family.
Our dog doesn't even want to go outside.
The retired first responder moved to the Bodfish area to enjoy the fresh air and natural beauty. But these days, he and other locals like Chuck Dunn find themselves living in an area engulfed by some of the dirtiest air in the region.
Oh, I can just feel it in my lungs. It's just unbelievable. I'm short-winded and you can't get a good breath.
The battle facing the Kern River Valley is threefold. First, the enormous economic decline stemming from the coronavirus pandemic has continued with the poor air quality.
It's definitely slowed stuff down a lot.
Then there are the social costs to living in a region with such dirty air.
It's a little depressing about not being able to go out with the virus and the smoke. So they're both combined together. We're kind of withdrawn.
And finally, the isolation coupled with the physical effects of breathing in these toxins has led to an overall sluggish mentality.
Seeing this every day it puts a dampen on your spirits. It's a little bit depressing.
Dr. Corey Gonzalez is a licensed mental health counselor. He believes the poor air quality mixed with a lack of sunlight creates a form of seasonal affective disorder, a form of clinical depression commonly seen in the rainy months of the Pacific Northwest.
So if you don't have that sunlight, or you're not seeing the sun, the retina's not dilating where you're getting that sunlight in, it can cause depression.
Adding yet another battle for a region that's been hit hard these last couple months.
Yeah, and Alex, Dr. Gonzalez says if you're showing any symptoms of depression, to reach out to your doctor right away. It's very normal during these tough times. Reporting live, Taylor Schaub, 17 News.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed how it does take a toll on your mental health because you start to just look outside and see the gray sky, and you do miss that sun.
It's like, exactly like he said, it's like areas where you go through long winters and you don't see the sun. You miss it, and it is very important for your physical and mental health.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.